Hey guys, welcome back to Let's Play These Sims. This is not a Let's Play. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Kate, or I go by AlwaysMoreSims here on YouTube. And today we are looking at more pictures. I know we just went through screenshots, what was that, Friday? For Barbie Legacy, but I also finished the third generation of In Bloom. And so we have more pictures to go through and look at from the generation. So this was, like I said, the third generation, which was based on the lavender flower. And our heir, who is actually right here on screen, her name is also Lavender. And this was probably the most story heavy generation I think I've ever played in The Sims. It was very heavy on the story. I kind of went a little overboard when Lavender was a teenager, and I spun this whole story, and then it just kind of continued into her young adulthood. So basically, Lavender is an only child. She was adopted by her father Zinnian, who is the Generation 2 heir. He was a plant sim. He was very self-conscious of how he looked and how he differed from everybody, and because of that, he was kind of a shut-in. He really only left to go to work. And he never had any romantic partner. He didn't go on dates. He never got married. But Zinnian and his mom, our founder, Daisy, were really close. Daisy and Zinnian were like best friends, and Zinnian really wanted that too. So that is when he adopted Lavender, and they were also very close. And because Zinnian wasn't much of a social butterfly, again, pretty much a shut-in, all he had were his cats and his daughter. That's pretty much how Lavender was raised too. So Lavender kind of grew up a loner. She did not have a lot of friends. She really just had her dad, the cats, and her best friend, Danny. So she and Danny were very close when they were little, and then they aged up into teenagers, and Danny got himself a new girlfriend. Her name was Iris. Oh, that was my wrist that just popped. Her name was Iris, which just so happens to also be a purple flower. Clearly he has a type. And Iris and Lavender did not get along. Now, Lavender didn't realize until later on in life that it was because she actually had feelings for Danny. But she and Iris were just constantly butting heads. And Iris would kind of tease her and poke at her to get Lavender to blow up, and then Iris would go running back to Danny, and Iris would try to copy what Lavender would do to make herself more like Lavender, thinking that that would help endear her to Danny and make Danny like Iris even more. It was a whole thing. So there was one time where Lavender, because she's an inventor, she had gone to the junkyard to get scrap, and Iris followed, and while there, Lavender had it and confronted her, and they ended up getting into a full-blown fist fight. And Iris got back to Danny first, and Danny was like, okay, I'm over this, and no more, I'm done. And pretty much ended up picking Iris over Lavender and distanced himself. And he got married to Iris. They ended up having a daughter named Eloise. But the longer that Iris and Danny were married, I don't want to say Danny was necessarily unhappy, but I think he was just becoming less and less content. He missed his childhood best friend, and Iris she was a bit on the controlling side. And then Danny started to reconnect with Lavender, which Iris really didn't like. And eventually it just got too much. They ended up getting divorced, and Danny and Lavender got really close again. They really reconnected, and things moved pretty fast from there. Lavender came forth with, she's like, yeah, I've had feelings for you this whole time, and all of the things. So they came back together. Now, originally, I had wanted Eloise, which again is Danny's first daughter, to dislike Lavender. And I was thinking that, and I totally destroyed their relationship. They didn't have any relationship, but I took it all the way down to be a full red bar because I was like, well, Iris would be in Eloise's ear at home just whispering all these bad things about Lavender and really trying to make sure that Lavender didn't, quote unquote, take her daughter too. She already had, again, quote unquote, taken her husband. She didn't want Lavender to win over her daughter too. Now, I kind of dropped the ball on fixing the relationship because my plan was to actually have Lavender win Eloise over. And that didn't end up happening, which was my bad. Again, really dropped the ball on it. And I was trying to have Eloise go back and forth, spend a couple days at Danny's house, spend a couple days at Iris. I totally blanked on her name for a second. At Iris's house. And I wasn't very good. Dang it, my wrists keep popping. I'm sorry. But I wasn't very good at making sure she went back and forth properly. And so she had been moved back in with her mom for a couple of days and ended up aging up. And I just was like, okay, well, I kind of gave up with Eloise. I do feel bad about that. So kind of flash forward to where we are in the screenshots now, because I know that I've been talking a lot and I haven't been talking about the screenshots at all. Danny and Lavender ended up having 2 kids. This is actually their oldest right here. This is Charlotte and her now husband, Joseph. That's their house and they're going to get engaged here in a second, I think. Yes. So, which is actually really cute because I just realized this is also where Danny and Lavender got engaged, was at the park. I just now realized this. It's so cute. So they ended up having 2 daughters. They have Charlotte here, and then they have their youngest, who is our heir, Rose. They also have had their fair share of cats. Let's see. So Lavender had Lilac gifted to her by her dad as a kitten. And then we had Viola, which was Lavender's first cat that she got on her own. And then we actually ended up taking in, I believe it was Lilac's mom. Or maybe it was Viola's mom. No, hold on. Lilac was a kitten she got from Danny. Because Danny originally had Lilac's mom, Dolly. And then Lilac had Viola, with one of Zinnian's cats. And then when Danny eventually moved in with us, he brought Dolly with him. And Lilac had another kitten with one of Zinnian's other cats named Tinker. Tinker. So we had 4 cats, and then Dolly passed away. And then Zinnian was getting ready to pass away, so we got one of his cats, Ash, and then we have this as Petal. So we've had a fair share of cats. These are pictures of grandbabies. I'm actually out of time. I blabbed this whole thing away. I'm really sorry. Thank you guys so much for watching, and bye!